Hello, it's Alex and welcome to Hey Little Thrifter. One of my favourite things to look for in thrift stores and charity shops is books, and I thought it would be fun to start a new series here and share with you what I've been reading, seeing as most of them are thrifted. In fact, the 3 books that I read this month were all from library book sales, and I think the cheapest was probably 25 cents. The max would have been like $2. So I would highly recommend checking out your local libraries and see if they do any book sales, because it's a great place to buy secondhand books. So I kicked off January with Real World by Natsuo Kirino. I have read one other book by her and that was Out, which I really enjoyed. Anyway, so this tells the story of a group of teenage girls who become involved with someone who has recently committed murder, and it's told from the perspective of the different characters throughout the book. One thing that I did find really interesting was that each of the characters does have their own distinct voice. The story itself, considering it's such a short book, it's only about 200 pages long, I found it quite slow at times. And I was kind of, just trying to get through it. It definitely does have its moments. I think some of it is very well written. I thought it was good. I gave it 3 stars out of 5, but it was just missing something for me, I think. And especially compared to Out, which I gave 4 out of 5. It wasn't nearly as good as that one, and I was obviously hoping that Real World would be just as good as Out, if not better, so I was definitely disappointed when I didn't think it was as good. Out is much longer. It has a somewhat similar storyline in that it's about a group of people who become involved in a murder, and without giving anything else away, but I feel that Out, it has so much more character development and story development, and was just overall much more satisfying to read, and I just think overall it was just much more interesting to me. So unfortunately this one didn't quite hit the mark for me, but I would still be interested to check out more of her stuff. And next up I read The Secret Keeper by Kate Morton, and this follows the main character Laurel in the 1960s when she's a teenager and she witnesses a murder. It then moves forward in time to the present day, and she's looking back on this and trying to figure out the mystery of what actually happened that day. And so it flips back and forth within different time periods and different characters, which I found confusing for a little while because there were just so many characters and different time periods going on, but it does all come together. I thought this was okay. It wasn't really my cup of tea. I think maybe I just prefer things that are a bit more gritty. This one was, kind of twee. It does deal with some dark subject matter. It's dealing with the war, it's dealing with a murder, obviously, and domestic abuse is part of someone's storyline. But it doesn't really delve into these things very much, they're just kind of on the surface. But it's a pretty long book and I found it getting a bit slow in places, and I was just thinking, get on with it. But it was a pretty good book, well written, just not really my thing, I guess. So I gave it 3 stars out of 5, but like I said, it's just not really my cup of tea, so I don't think I will be checking out any more of her books. And the last book I read in January is Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit by Jeanette Winterson, and I really liked this. I gave it 4 out of 5, and this is about another teenage girl. I don't think there were any murders this time though, so I guess this one bucks the trend. So this tells the story of a teenage girl, and I believe it is semi-autobiographical. And she's raised in a very evangelical household, and as she gets older she realises that she is a lesbian, and her mother and the other members of the church are very against that. And so it's this kind of coming of age tale from that period of her life, and I really enjoyed it. As it starts off, it's very witty and quirky, like a naturally quirky style, not a annoying, trying too hard type thing. I found all of the characters so interesting, and the way that she describes them is just really involving. But yeah, just really enjoyable to read. As the story goes on and she gets older, it does get more serious and it does get more sad. But overall I thought it was really well written, I really enjoyed it, and I would definitely be interested in reading more of her stuff. If you've read any of these books, please let me know what you thought, or let me know if you read anything good recently that you would recommend. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you again in my next video. Bye!